Greetings to our lecturer, Dr. Ridwan Ali. We are from Group 4 and today we will be presenting about ABC applications in service industry. For the introduction, ABC method is a method established in the late 1980s by Kaplan and Bruns. The ABC method is an activity-based approach to costing, segmenting a company's operations for a detailed analysis of expenditure in each section. This method breaks down activities to assess the associated costs such as products, raw materials, and customers, which in turn use resources within the business. Activity-based costing, or ABC, is a modern costing method that gives a more accurate view on how money is spent. Instead of spreading costs evenly like traditional method, ABC looks at the specific activities that use resources and assigns costs based on that. This helps organizations understand where their money is really going, make better financial decisions, and improve overall efficiency. In service organizations, managers need accurate information about the cost of the services they provide. This information is critical for setting fair prices, managing resources effectively, and making informed decisions. Without accurate cost data, it's difficult to identify inefficiencies or plan the improvements. That's why reliable costing methods like activity-based costing are so valuable in service sectors. My name is Mazatul Liana Balkis binti Mama Hafiz Pang and metric number 307461. Now, I will be presenting about implementation of activity-based costing in hotel services. Why ABC method? Activity-based costing or ABC method helps us make smarter financial decisions in the hospitality industry. First, it offers more accurate cost allocation by linking overheads to actual activities and giving us a true reflection of where costs come from. Second, it improves pricing decision. With accurate cost data, we can set fair and competitive prices. Third, it enhances profitability analysis by clearly showing which services are profitable and which are not. It will help managers focus on what really drives performance. In traditional costing, overheads are allocated using broad measures such as floor space or headcount. Even this is simpler, it often leads to inaccuracies where some services are overcosted and others are undercosted. For example, in my case study, Tabriz International Hotel, traditional costing estimated the cost per room at $8.92 and restaurant cost per guest at $1.94. But after applying activity-based costing, the actual room turns out to be $10.39 and the restaurant cost dropped to $85. This clearly shows that traditional costing are overestimated room costs and overestimated food costs. This could lead to poor pricing decisions. On the other hand, ABC allocates costs based on actual activities and cost drivers. This helps providing a much more accurate view of service costs. This accuracy is important, especially in hospitality sector, where each department's costs vary significantly. Traditional costing also limits decision-making inside because ABC methods offer detailed data that helps managers make better pricing, budgeting, and profitability decisions. In short, service-based business like hotels, ABC method is a much more effective. Next, I will explain how the activity-based costing was implemented in the hospitality industry, specifically at Tabriz International Hotel. The process started by identifying major activities within the hotel. This included housekeeping, restaurant operations, administration, engineering, and marketing. Housekeeping and restaurant were considered operational, while the rest were non-operational. Secondly, the hotel grouped these activities into cost centers to organize the data. This allowed them to manage and trace costs more efficiently across departments. Thirdly, they assigned all relevant costs to these centers, including payroll, raw materials, utilities, maintenance, and employee benefits. These steps ensure both direct and indirect costs were captured accurately. After that, they determine the cost drivers for each activity. For example, the number of rooms sold was used for housekeeping and the number of meals served was used for restaurant. These drivers help trace how much each activity contributes to total cost. Next, non-operational costs such as those from admin and marketing were then allocated to the operational departments based on floor space, which is a fair and logical allocation method. Once all costs were compiled, the hotel calculated the cost per unit of service. Under ABC method, the cost per room was $10.39 and the cost per guest meal was $0.85. This revealed a big difference compared to the traditional costing, which had previously underestimated room costs and overestimated restaurant costs. Finally, the ABC data was used for better decision making. It provided clearer insight into which services were profitable, helped set more accurate prices, and supported better budgeting. Without ABC method, the hotel risked undercharging for rooms and overcharging for food, potentially losing customers and profits. For conclusion, implementing ABC at Tabriz International Hotel gave management more reliable information and helped improve financial performance. Next, I will pass to the next presenter.
My name is Nurul Aisyah Zwali Betunur Hisham and my matrix number is 306565. So now I'm going to explain about implementation of activity-based costing for telecommunication companies. So first of all, what is telecom? Telecom is a large Malaysian telecommunication company that was chosen due to its intensive operation and complex service offering. This company provides nationwide mobile, internet and digital communication service while managing a wide range of technical infrastructure including network towers, fiber optic system and call center. Due to the increasing complexity of services and rising operational costs, the company faced challenges in accurately tracing overhead and service related to expenses. So, this led to the implementation of activity-based costing to gain clearer insight into how resources were consumed across various departments and services. So, what is activity-based costing, ABC? Activity-based costing is a more accurate method of assigning costs to products or services based on the actual activities or resources consumed. Unlike traditional costing, which spread overhead costs evenly across products, ABC identifies key activities in an organization and allocate costs based on each product use of those activities. This approach enhances cost visibility and helps managers make more informed about pricing, budgeting, and process improvement decisions. It is particularly useful in environments with diverse products and complex operations. Next, the primary objective of the case study. Primary objective of the case study was to implement the activity-based costing system in a local manufacturing company to evaluate its effectiveness compared to traditional costing methods. By doing so, the study aimed to highlight the benefits of ABC in identifying accurate product costs, understanding cost drivers, and also enhancing decision-making regarding pricing and cost control. Ultimately, the case sought to demonstrate how ABC can serve as a valuable tool for improving financial performance and also competitiveness in a real-world setting. Why telecommunication companies need ABC? The Malaysian telecommunication company need ABC because they face several operational and financial challenges due to it relies on a traditional costing method. Firstly, the existing system provided inaccurate cost information by allocating overhead costs using broad estimate instead of actual usage. This causes management to lack transparency about which services or department were truly consuming the most resources. In addition, the company experienced rising operational costs, especially in support functions like billing and customer service, which were not being properly monitored. The wide range of complex service offerings, such as bundled internet and mobile package, further complicated cost tracking. As a result, managers lack reliable cost data to support effective decision making, particularly in pricing, budgeting, and also resource planning. To fix this problem, the company adopted activity-based costing. So they have several steps to implementing the ABC. First, the organization identifies its key activities that consume resources. Next, it assigns costs to these activities based on resource consumption data. The company then determines the cost drivers, measurable factors like influence activity costs, and collect data on how frequently each product uses these drivers. By calculating the cost per unit of each activity, the organization can allocate costs to individual products more wisely. This structured implementation helps in achieving a more accurate understanding of product costs and also support better strategic decision making. The solution for ABC to telecommunication company is: first, it involves identifying key activities such as call handling and network monitoring, and assigning relevant cost drivers like call volume or network usage. These activities are then grouped into cost pool, for example, all billing-related activities to facilitate better cost allocation. The next step is tracing their cost to specific services using the identified drivers, helping to distinguish between high-cost and low-cost offerings, such as comparing mobile plans to broadband services. This approach supports more efficient resource allocation by highlighting unnecessary or expensive processes that can be optimized or eliminated. Finally, ABC data enables data-driven decision-making, allowing telecom companies to build more effective business strategy by focusing on profitable services and discontinuing those are not.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Nur Aini binti Marzuki and my metric number is 307278. Today, I would like to present about implementing activity-based costing ABC in the insurance companies. The main purpose of activity-based costing application in insurance companies is to enable the appropriate information regarding costs in order to make a cost reduction and to improve profitability evaluations. In insurance companies, activity-based costing ABC is used to identify value-added and non-value-added activities and also to provide more accurate evaluation of product, insurance contracts, and customers' profitability evaluation. Activity-based costing is a tool that can help managers in insurance companies to obtain accurate and appropriate information regarding the activity costs. Also, to correctly identify and analyze customers and products' profitability. Management of insurance companies is trying to increase profitability in two ways: by focusing on products, insurance contracts, and customers that are the most profitable based on activity-based costing, and by outsourcing or modifying non-value-added activities. In order to apply activity-based costing ABC in insurance companies, three main factors must be defined, which is activities within a company, cost drivers for every identified activity, and cost objects. The main assumption of activity-based costing is that cost objects consume activities and activities consume resources. Resource costs are assigned to activities based on their use of those resources, and activity costs are reassigned to cost objects based on the cost objects' proportional use of those activities. Activity-based costing enables insurance companies understand how their infrastructure resources are consumed by activities and how products, customers, and channels consume those activities. Every cost that occurs in insurance company must be assigned to appropriate activity that have costs in occurrence. Then, costs must be reassigned from activities to cost objects. So now, we move to the process of activity-based costing implementation in insurance companies. The implementation of activity-based costing in service companies and also insurance companies as well is usually carried out through the following phases. The first one is form a cross-functional team. Secondly, identify cost objects, items for which there was a need for cost information. Thirdly, identify activities like homogeneous groups of work. Fourth, identify cost drivers, the agents that cause costs to be incurred in the activities. Fifth, attribute activity cost to cost object. And the last one, use the information. In insurance companies, activities can be divided on prior activities and consequential activities, activities that follow after products made. Prior activities include market research, product correction, insurance contract or policy, which include coverage, premium, conditions, provisions, network technology, printing press lists, brochures, forms, and education offices channel. Consequential activities can be divided on primary and secondary activities. Primary activities refer to cost of making of insurance policy and distribution, agents provision. Secondary activities are claim inception, claim estimation, processing claims, claim settlement, and legal actions. For every identified activity, cost drivers should be determined. These are the potential cost drivers for activity in insurance company based on Table 1. Potential cost drivers according to the mentioned activity are presented in the following table. Every cost incurred must be assigned to activity which has cost in occurrence and then reassigned from activity to cost objects, insurance contracts or policies, customer or channels based on defined cost drivers.
Next, I will be presenting on how activity-based costing or ABC can be effectively applied in the service industry. Specifically, in the banking and financial services sector, we'll explore what ABC is, how it works, and how banks can use it to gain better insight into their cost structure and improve decision-making. Introduction to ABC. Activity-based costing is a method that assigns costs to activity based on their use of resources. Instead of lumping all overhead into one pool, ABC traces costs to the specific activities that drive them. In banking, where services vary in complexity and resources consumption, ABC helps allocate costs more accurately to individual services. Next, traditional costing versus ABC. Traditional costing method often assign overhead uniformly, leading to distorted service costs. For example, processing a mortgage might be far more resources intensive than opening a saving account, but traditional costing might treat them similarly. ABC fixes this by linking costs to the activity to generate them, providing a clear view of actual service costs. Step in implementing ABC in banking. Implementing ABC involves several steps. First, the bank must identify all relevant activities, things like loan processing or account maintenance. Then it assigns costs to these activities and identifies cost drivers, such as the number of transactions or time spent. With this information, the bank calculates activity rates and applies them to determine the cost of delivering specific services. Next, for case study for loan processing. So, let's take a loan processing as an example. The activities might include customer consultation, application reviews, and credit checks. Each activity has a cost and each has a driver. For example, the number of applications processed. ABC allows the bank to calculate the true cost of processing a loan by tracing how much of each activity it consumes. So, the benefits of ABC in banking are significant. It improves cost accuracy and helps set more competitive pricing. It highlights inefficiency, allowing the bank to optimize processes. Most importantly, it helps banks understand customer profitability. Some customers cost more to serve than others, and ABC reveals that. So, of course, ABC isn't without challenges. It requires detailed data collection and can be complex to manage. Also, organizations need to train staff and manage the change carefully to ensure smooth adoption. However, with proper planning, these challenges can be overcome. So, in conclusion, ABC offers banks a more accurate and strategic approach to costing. It moves beyond average and assumptions to show the real cost of services. Despite its complexity, the benefits in terms of profitability and efficiency make it a valuable tool for bank and financial service providers.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Khairunisha binti Kamaruzaman and my matric number is 306670. So I will present to you about the implementation of activity-based costing ABC in tertiary education. So firstly, we go through what is the purpose of using ABC in tertiary education sector. The first purpose is ABC is recognized as strategic management accounting tool that is able to improve the traditional costing of indirect costs, and it also has been widely recognized as a superior method for allocating overhead costs. Next, by using this system, it helps the institution to get the government funding by proving them their real cost of each program, and also helps to break down the overhead costs and assign them more fairly to the different activities. Moving to the benefits of ABC application in this sector. So there is a lot of benefits of it, but I focus only two of them. The first benefit is to allow the education institution to know the actual cost of each program and the cost per student, because ABC system is allocate the cost from activity cost pools using allocation basis compared to traditional costing that use volume-based allocation basis. The second benefit is when the institution use the ABC system in their management, the cost information can enable the stakeholders like Ministry of Education Malaysia and sponsors, even the parents, to know how much it costs to educate the students, because they can show their actual financial position in a certain period. Next, we move to how to determine the educational costs by using the activity-based costing. And I take University Kebangsaan Malaysia UKM as the example of the study. The first step is identifying resources. There are three categories of resources. The first one is emolument, which is university staff salaries and also benefits. The second one is non-emolument, which is other operation costs. And the last resource is depreciation costs. Step 2 is identifying resources drivers, which is each responsibility center will have its own cost trace based on the three categories of resources. Step number 3 is identifying responsibility center, which is on this step, it should be identified according to the function in that educational institution. Next step is identifying the activity drivers, for example like numbers of transactions, students, staff, credit hours, percentage of activities, and duration of academic program. The last step is identifying the work object. The allocation process begins by assign all institutional support costs to other responsibility center and next to the outputs. At the end of the process, as you can see, faculty and institute costs are allocated to output, which are educational programs, research and innovation, and expert services. All academic costs are allocated to educational programs only, whereas research support costs are allocated only to research and innovation. To implement the activity-based costing in tertiary education, such as university, there are a few challenges that need to face. The first one is afraid that funding agency might infringe on institutional autonomy due to transparency that created by ABC, and it might negatively influence their future funding. the institutional with strong financial performance will be more influential than the institution that spend their money on what they believe is beneficial to society. The next challenge is major activities must be identified and individual must estimate the time that they spend on performing those activities. So it required the additional time spent for the staff to allocate the payroll costs and collect data appropriately.
Last but not least, this is our reference. Thank you for watching.